I'm on the Tiger Triumph 900 Rally Pro 2024 edition. Running Motoz on the back, running a dual venture on the front, and the Raid, I believe, on the back. Honestly, can't remember. I think we're just about ready. My cousin Ben and I are doing the TAT 1 month from today. So, what's my, let's see, it's been about 3 months I've had this bike. I've put on approximately 2,000 miles. Did my service, oil changes, or oil change at 600 as per the manufacturer. I've added the upper crash bars, and they are sturdy. They're well built. I've put some generic foot pegs on just because I like to put my leg up. I'm old, it helps. I added this Amazon device. It's a Apple CarPlay, and then I'm running the ZumoXT on the front. So my preferred method of navigation is pretty straightforward. I like to have the Zumo run my tracks from Sam Carrero or GPS Kevin. No, I don't want to get into Sam stole or Sam got it stolen and all that stuff. I just want to ride. Not in the mood for that kind of drama. But I run my GPS tracks on the Garmin ZumoXT, and then I listen to music, and of course I go to Waze to try to stay out of trouble with the popo, because when you have a 900cc bike, there's a tendency to want to use it. And little towns like this, they thrive on stopping folks like me to get their $250 and for going a little bit over the speed limit. But regardless, I don't recommend speeding. It's safer not to. So, but anyway, Garmin Zumo, I run the tracks, GPS tracks on that, and then I run the CarPlay for my music, for Gaia, for stuff like that. This bike's just intoxicating. I haven't been on this road for a while. But back to the GPS. I'm getting distracted. I run Gaia on here just for a large view to say, okay, how much more time do I have in the section? What's our progress for the day? It helps, you know, on planning hotels, campgrounds, whatever we decide to do. But some will say, oh, that's stupid. Why do you have GPS at the top? You already have one. You're just cluttering your bike. Well, I've done 2 BDRs, and here's what I've learned about cell phone service. Are you going to remember to download all those maps to Gaia? Because if you don't, you're going to have a triangle, but you're not going to have any map behind it if you're out of cell phone service. What about if it rains? Is your phone going to be on your handlebars and the rain's hitting it, opening every button? Can you navigate while it's opening every button? So my feeling is it is not using a phone plus a vibration. I know I have a quad lock mount on one of my other bikes. They're great, but this is what works for me. If you do something else, hey, more power to you, but this setup works for me. It's pretty clean. I took a lot of time to get all the wires out, and then the bonus is I actually have a dash cam on it, so I can, it records in a loop, and I swear I'm gonna make a video of how many times I get pulled out in front of. I mean, as motorcyclists, we all know, you know, people just say, oh, I can't see you. I mean, my high beam will be on, I've got auxiliary lights on, but it's something about the shape of a motorcycle that people just don't acknowledge it mentally. So I don't think I'm going to change that anytime soon, but if I do crash into someone because they make a left turn in front of me, at least my kids will know what happened. And, you know, I think they always err on the side of, well, it's the bike's fault, you're taking a risk. So I'm hoping the dash cam footage will help me out. So far, the dash cam's pretty good. I've been able to get footage. Some crazy lady tried to pass me on a main street once. I got that footage. But it's just nice to have. So that's my electronic setup. It also tells me my battery voltage. And I can easily switch with one button with my hand to get back to Waze or Apple CarPlay if I want to. So a couple clicks on the bottom button and I'm right back to Waze. Again, to see where those popo are sitting. Doesn't work all the time, but it has saved me. The Triumph Tiger, the new dash, that's part of the reason I waited to 2024. I did not like the old dash. To each his own, it's a personal thing. Wasn't a deal breaker, but I also heard that they were giving me a little more horsepower, a little more comfortable seat. You know, some of the upgrades of the motor. And I test drove a 23, really liked it, but I wasn't in the position to buy, and so I am glad I waited. It did take 5 months of waiting, or almost 4 months of waiting to get this. I actually ordered it on Christmas Eve, and I got it, I think, on tax day, somewhere in April. So far, one of the coolest features that I wasn't used to was the quick shifter. I mean, if you just touch it with your foot, you're shifting the gear. And I'm kind of used to running out the gears with the clutch, so if I go down into, say, third, and I want to give it, I'm just used to kind of that. But with the quick shifter, you know, you go down into third, you gun it, click, click, click. I mean, it is instantaneous. There is no hesitation. And then going down, I'm downshifting, it goes right down. It really is an impressive piece of kit on the bike. So another question might be, why did I choose the Tiger 900 Rally Pro for the TAT? It's too big. Now, from all my research, unless you're doing the single track sections, it's mostly gravel. It's back forest roads. It's a lot of roads like this. And, you know, I have a dual sport Husky 501, and I cannot imagine sitting on that for 8 hours a day for, you know, 30 or 40 days. You know, I've got it comfortable and everything, but just having cruise control, which works perfectly, having the tubeless tires works perfectly, but then having the fun of the bigger engine to play is what works for me. Now, I'm sure in the desert and the sand, I'm going to regret it, because I know big bikes don't handle sand. I am an intermediate rider. You'll see some video on how we do in that. That's the only place I can really think that I'll regret it. Mud, Oklahoma, all that stuff that I've read about, you know, it's real simple. If we see that clay, mud roads in Oklahoma, we're gonna bypass it. I have nothing to prove by trying to ride in grease and on mud that cakes up so much that your front wheel quits spinning. Some guys might see the adventure in that. Personally, not for me. And everyone on the TAT forums, they all say, make it your own ride. So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll set up cruise control. And I think I'll go the back roads since I can. I do find myself using the clutch still. It's just, you know, 40 years of riding. That's just, it's habit. And you can turn the quick shifter off if you don't like it. As far as ride modes, I'm getting used to the joystick. It's pretty intuitive, pretty easy. I'm starting to memorize, you know, the number of clicks to get to what I want. For example, I've got 1,907 miles, almost 2,000. My next service is in 4,695. I can go back, go to my trip, take a look at my fuel status, and it gives me my fuel range. I would say that I've been getting 45 miles to the gallon pretty much religiously, and I am hard on the throttle. I don't ride the bike gingerly. I like the power, I like the torque, and I use it at every chance I get, but I still get 45 miles to the gallon, which really isn't bad. It's got something like a 5.2 gallon tank, so my cousin, he's riding a 10er AT7. We did the math, we'll probably still be, he gets somewhere around 55 to 60 miles to the gallon, so it'll be a wash as far as we'll be fueling up at the same time. Other features that I added to the bike, other than the crash bars, were these bigger foot pegs. I think they're from Black Dog. And, you know, I saw a lot of vloggers say, you know, get foot pegs, get foot pegs. I thought, wow, what a waste of money. I've never really felt fatigue, but oh my God, having a wider foot peg, just being able to go out further on the edge, when you're standing, you really feel more control when you're in attack position. I gotta say, I thought the foot pegs, I didn't need them, but I'm glad I got them. The other thing I added to this Tiger was the fender kit for underneath, that fender guard and chain guard, and it actually kind of protects the underneath, the shock underneath the seat from getting all the crap up in it. I got that from Puig, from Revzilla, and it went on like a champ. Fit perfect. Let's see, I'm using Tusk, their rackless system, the X2. I'm not a fan of panniers, just personal preference. I don't want my bike to be as wide as the side-by-side, and I like the soft bags. I just find when I go down, they have some give to them. Very durable. Panniers are definitely more convenient, but for me, I'm just not a fan. So I'm doing the soft luggage. I did add this Tusk bag, and before I did, I ended up getting some 3M stuff to put over the tank just to protect it. I mean, I'll do a before and after picture, but this bike is so purty right now with its ash gray and intense orange. I'm afraid to see what it's going to look like after, you know, 60 days on the dirt roads, but I didn't buy the bike to look at it. I bought the bike to ride it. Right now I just have a little El Cheapo soft bag on the back that I zip tied to, I bought a rack from AliExpress. And I did buy 2 like small pannier racks just to hold my rackless up from it does have a tendency to kind of go lean in towards the tire. So I did buy those, and I can show those when I hop off. But yeah, the rear case, all the 20 to 23 Tiger Triumph stuff fits for the most part in the rear. The bolt patterns are the same, so it still gives you a good look at what you can do as far as buying luggage and stuff. It is pretty much the same. I did buy some bark busters. You know, when I laid this bike down just to see how hard it was to pick up, I think that's what'll hit the ground, the bark busters and my bottom engine racks, or engine protection guards, which came with the bike. So I only had to buy the uppers, and I bought those from Triumph. Those were back ordered about 6 weeks, so I was happy I got them before our trip. And yeah, other than the electronics, some of the luggage stuff, my tires, you know, adventure bikes, I think that's part of the hobby, is finding all the kit that you want to add to them, and it makes it so much fun, you know, finding out what works for you. But I am truly excited. What we're really excited about is going Colorado, doing all the passes. And, you know, I watched the big adventure bikes go up there, and, you know, the term that I keep hearing is momentum. Keep your momentum. It's a big bike. Doesn't matter what tires you have. If you stop, it's just going to dig in. So, again, Ben and I have been riding for quite a while, so we're pretty excited for that. The modes, I have tried all the modes. I do have an off-road mode plus, or off-road mode pro, which does turn off all traction control, all ABS in the rear. You can't turn off the front, but I'll be honest, there's never been an instance where I wanted ABS off in the front for the riding that I do. So I am happy about that. The other good news is that I can turn off-road mode pro and put it back into road mode without stopping, which is nice. However, I can't put it in that mode while I'm riding, so I do have to stop to get that in. So we're halfway there. Other things I really like about this bike, I would say, is the lack of vibration. I know that some guys said that the bars vibrated on their 20 to 23. They put some rubber dampers inside the bars, and you can actually feel them when you come to a real hard stop. You can feel a little bit of flex in the bars. But my goodness, this is just so damn smooth as I'm riding. And you have to do that under a tunnel. I don't think there's a guy alive that doesn't rev his bike under a tunnel. It's like part of the motorcycle code. One feature, as I look at my turn signal, I wanted to mention, my cousin was making fun of me because I'm old. I'm almost 60, about a year away. And I kept leaving my turn signal on, and I said, man, it must not be a cliche. It must be like when you get old, you can't turn off your turn signal. Well, the nice thing is, and you could see that before I even clicked it, there are auto-canceling turn signals, but they come from the factory off. So it wasn't until about a month later that I go, oh, I do have self-canceling turn signals. Which, again, a gadget. Do you need it in the dirt? No. Is it nice on the road? Yes, it is. But I was talking about features I like. Again, just the sheer lack of vibration in the bars. Cruising in 6th gear. Here was the other reason I bought a bigger bike. When we come home, we're planning 40 days on the trail. We're going to spend a week in Colorado just to do more than the TAT. We're going to go up to Taylor Park, try to find some easier trails for bigger bikes. And I am excited about that. But when I come home, you know, we were planning on taking Route 30 or Route 40 across the country instead of doing the interstate. But the good news with this bike is, if we do have to make up some time on the interstate, you can ride at 85 miles an hour on this bike on the interstate, and the wind protection is just right. I have this perfect bubble of air that, yeah, you definitely get some wind noise, but it's not fatiguing. And I'm wearing a helmet with a bill on it, and I love that because it keeps the sun out, but it doesn't catch the wind, and I find absolutely no fatigue from the wind at high speeds. So I feel like, you know, there is no unicorn motorcycle. However, I feel for me, I think this is as close as I can get with what's out there. Other bikes I compared this with. One, I have a T7 that I am selling, and the T7 is awesome. I cannot say enough about that motorcycle. It's an incredible bike. It's really, really good when you get into some gnarly stuff on the back roads, even a little bit of, you know, basic single track. That bike, there is no problem whatsoever, you know, with riding the T7. But where the T7 failed me was on, you know, on the highway. And the Tiger, I waited, I put it on the scale after I had everything on it, and it weighed in at 497 pounds. And that was wet. That was probably with like 3/4 of a tank of gas. And even though I put all this stuff on it, you know, it still wasn't 500 pounds. Now my T7, I think, was somewhere up around, with the gear, the crash bars I put it on and everything, it was like 465, 470. You know, I know it's heavier, and I know that's going to come to bite me in sand or really gnarly conditions, but I'm hoping that I have the skill to overcome that. And with all the gadgetry I get, it's great. But, you know, comparing it to other bikes, the T7, love my T7, but I do think this is a step up. And I also know that it's twice as much, so, you know, is it worth it? To me, it is. To others, it's not. Others will go, my God, you could have got 2 Transalps for the price of this. Yeah, I know, but the Transalp isn't the bike I want. This is the bike I want. The other bike out there was the Aprilia Touareg, and, you know, some of the vloggers that I watch on YouTube claim that is the best because it has a lot of the features that this does, where it's got 80 horsepower, it's got tubeless tires, it's got cruise control. You know, the negatives on the Aprilia are lack of a dealer network. So you're going across the country, you know, if something does break or you need it, you know, how easy that going to be to find. Now, Triumph probably isn't going to be a whole hell of a lot better, but I looked on the map, and there is a decent dealer network. Nowhere as good as like a Yamaha or Honda. You can almost spit and find some dealer for Yamaha or Honda, so I am taking a risk there. The other complaint I heard about the Touareg was the heat on, kind of creates a bubble of the heat from the headers that guys said were annoying. And I will say the Tiger, they're like, oh my God, those fans, they'll bake your legs. It's so hot, it's so terrible. Well, I have a real easy thing that I do to try to combat that heat. Watch. Oh my God. Oh, now the heat's gone. I just move my legs out a little bit if it starts bothering me. And right now, I'm trying out these Climb, I think it's the Marrakesh, they're the mesh pants. And I gotta say, these things are so much better than I normally, when I ride to work and stuff, I'll wear riding jeans, and those are hot, and I think it's the sun baking down on the blue plus the heat from the engine, and you feel it. Is it a deal breaker? No, it's not a deal breaker, at least to me. I do think it's something for vloggers to talk about. Hey, this is a negative of the bike, so they can compare. But for me, the heat, there has been no negative as far as that goes. Now, when we're riding across Nevada at 110 degrees, maybe I'll have a different story, and I'll let you know on that. And then there was the Suzuki's, the V-Strom. Looked at that bike. You know, the adventure segment, there's just so many. You know, I went down and rode a BMW 1250. I also have a Harley Pan America. And my Harley, that's what I use for sport touring. I just have 80/20 tires on it. And I have taken it off-road, and it's decent. But the Harley, that's what I ride with one of my buddies who has a Road King. I ride that. But again, that bike, I think I weighed it, and it weighed in at like 575 with all the stuff, all the bags I had on it and everything. So again, that's 70 pounds heavier. And it definitely is not as nimble as the 900. So, you know, what bike do you pick? Pick the one you like, man. Pick the bike that you can go ride. And I have to say, one of the best things is that, you know, the Triumph dealers let you ride their bikes. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about trading my Pan America in for a Tiger 1200, and I test rode it, and I was like, no, it just didn't click anything for me. And I know this will cause controversy, but I like my Pan America better. I thought it was the Pan America at 7,000 RPM. I'm not joking, it's scary. I put a Pizoma exhaust on it and opened up the air filter, put the K&N high flow on it, and man, that thing rips. The Tiger 1200 felt jerky to me. I just didn't like how it ran. Now, if I were going purely by specs, that is probably the bike I would have went with, but that's why it's so critical to get a ride. The Tiger 900, I'm 20 minutes or 15 minutes from a dealer. I did their loop. I got off it. I said, that's my bike, 100%. And so far, 3 months later, I have absolutely no regrets on this bike. I mean, zero. And in my garage, again, I'm retired. I've saved up my money for a lot of years to be able to do this. I'm blessed to have multiple motorcycles. I know everyone can't, but I will say this. If you narrowed it down to one, I think this would be the bike. I can tour like I do on my Harley, yet I can go off-road on it. So is there that perfect unicorn bike? Hell no. But is there a perfect unicorn bike for you? Well, for me, this bike truly might be it.